led you guys in scoring, did it in a variety of ways, got to the free throw line. I mean, did you have to have a discussion with him about coming off the bench before the season? I mean, he sat up here and gave us a very mature response and how he's happy to do it. But I'm just curious, what was that process like? Maybe letting him know, or was it really not a process at all?
Probably not a process because he was hurt, so I think it just kind of naturally evolved. Obviously, the broken foot was out, most of the summer. And then he had the foot problem as we went into that red and white game, and that, put him behind. So that's why. But he's, we're running plays for him. A really explosive scorer. Great foul shooter. So late games, we need him to have the ball in his hands if we're in the bonus. He was phenomenal tonight. And he can rise up, and he's got deep range. He's shoots with great confidence. He's a really good offensive player.
Last time we talked to you, you mentioned an emphasis on rebounding and charting the offensive glass and things like that. I think you rebounded over half your misses tonight. I guess that's more in line with what you were looking for. And do you think that's something that can carry over moving forward?
Yeah, I thought certain guys did a great job on the offensive glass. Davenport, Graham, those two guys in particular, Devo, did a good job keeping balls alive and rebounding through the corners to get to the elbow area for long rebounds. And we got to get better at the point guard position, getting defensive rebounds. 23 minutes. I mean, we've historically been a great point guard rebounding team. And, tonight, L's 23 minutes, Layden's 10. We didn't have a defensive rebound, and we have to, we need our guards to go back there and help on the glass. So that those are areas for us to get better at for sure.
There for a good amount of minutes after missing so much time with the back spasms. Just what do you think of his performance 8 and 8 today?
Thought he was great. He rebounded the ball with some physicality. He kind of grab and go. He got a defensive rebound and pushed it with some good pace. I thought he played, really good. We're not going to play 13 guys and a half. Like that's just, and guys are playing their way into rotations and guys are playing their way out. That's just kind of how it happens. But we'll probably shorten the rotation and when that is, I don't know. The game will dictate it. But we got a lot of areas that we got to get better at for sure.
Yeah, Coach, Alcorn only made 3 3-pointers, but they also only took 9. I was just wondering if that number surprises you and if that was such a big point of emphasis for you guys trying to keep them off the 3-point line.
Yeah, I mean, we really wanted number 10 and number 3. We just didn't want them to get any clean looks. A little disappointed that Gambrell, hit 2 of 3 and went 6 of 8 because he was a focal point of our defense. But the guy that we really, we tried to do what we could against Edie when we played Purdue in the night. Joshua was the guy, and he went 3 of 11. So I thought, we talked about those other 2 shooters, but the focal point really was just trying to not let Joshua, get clean looks and have a high volume of assists. So I thought, we've done a great job now twice with stars.
Devo's performance, only 5 points. It seems like he's okay to take a little bit of a backseat offensively early in the season as these teams progress, but he had 5 assists, no turnovers. Just kind of what you make of the way he impacted the game on.
Yeah, I thought he was, the 5 and 5. He had 5, 5 and 5. So I thought, across the board, he played really well, made some great passes. The most important thing is Devo didn't have a turnover. I thought our point guard play, other than Devo, we got to take better care of the ball, for sure. And maybe Devo slides over there and plays a little bit more point guard. We'll go back and watch the film and discuss that.
50th straight home opening win, and almost those, over teams you should be. But how good is it that, and I think you're 9-0 in your career. How good is it to, take care of business, keep taking care of business in those games and win and play like you're supposed to? And
Yeah, I mean, we talked before the game about, we knew we were going to have a great student section, which it was. And, how do we get the students back for Friday and the following Monday? And you got to do it by taking care of business, playing the right way, playing hard. I thought we did all those things for the most part. But yeah, you got to, like I told the team before the game, somebody's getting beat tonight across the country. I promise. I told the team, I promise somebody's getting beat. VCU lost at home. Cal Bears are in a dogfight with St. Thomas right now for Minnesota. As I walked through here, St. Thomas was up 3 against a Pac-12 school. So you gotta have great respect for who you play every night. Alcorn State, I would be shocked if they don't have a heck of a year in the SWAC. I really would. I think they're well coached. They mix up their defenses. They're scrappy and they play hard.
Second half, you got a technical. That's probably not that weird. And then, but there was 2 flagrants on Anderson, and then we didn't realize it at the time. Brazil got ejected. Is that first of all, is that a good learning thing for Trevin, so it doesn't happen in a key game? Come off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I probably needed to do it. I didn't address the team after. Thank you for reminding me, Bob. Next time we get together in a day or so, I'll remind them. Maybe we can use this audio and I can show them that you asked the question and I slipped up by not reminding them.
A lot to the kids. And you're technical. What you're arguing the foul call or what happened?
I thought we drove and tried to get to the foul line and they did a good job. Is physical game. So
speaking of Brazil, he had a couple of highlight reel dunks there early. Just is he almost, or is he fully back to kind of pre-injury Brazil? And has it surprised you how quickly he's come along like he has?
Not really. I think our trainers and doctors and TB himself, they did a phenomenal job, like of being patient. I thought the timeline that we all put together was awesome. We were a little conservative on the front end, and now he's able to, to play the way that he's capable of playing. He's improved as a shooter. I thought athletically tonight, he rose above a lot of people. I would say he's 100% healthy and kind of fearless the way he's, jumping and rebounding in traffic.
Davenport only went 1 of 6 from deep. I think Pinion only took a couple, but y'all still shot 40% as a team on 30 attempts. Just how pleased are you with the y'all's perimeter shooting today?
I mean, it was really important that I didn't keep hearing about it from you guys and everybody else about our shooting. So we tried to address it. I think we've addressed it, but only time will tell.
The other game last
Ruda
season,
pointed that
pretty
out
good
during
start.
the game. Thanks, Scotty.
I wanted to ask you about Caleb. I don't want to say I didn't expect to see him sit down and defend when he got here, but we've seen that through 2 games. I guess the Purdue game and tonight. Just where's he grown defensively, and is he bought into what you want team defense wise?
Yeah, I think in the last 10 days, KB has been so bought in. He's really, today at shoot around, he was as vocal as anybody defensively, like super, super vocal. And I think he knows that if you want to get on the floor here, you got to defend. And he's doing that, and you also got to defend with, with intelligence and understanding when the other team's in the bonus and how to space your guy out. And I think he's done a really good job of that. And some other guys got to learn. I mean, we had 2 guys foul out, and 2 guys, 10 fouls in 20 minutes combined. We, you want to be aggressive, but you also got to understand, how to temper that aggressiveness when in fact the opposing team is in the bonus.
Coach, you talked about Alcorn State mixing up defenses. They showed you a fair amount of full court pressure in the second half. How did you feel your team handled that, and what can you take moving forward seeing that?
I mean, we turned the ball over way too much. We also scored pretty easy when we did get it across. But there was Devo wasn't in and T Mark wasn't in to help negate that. They will be in when when we're playing against a team that presses us and it's a close game.
forced in each of the exhibitions, 16 forced tonight. Just how satisfied are you with, you talked about team defense, the defensive identity of this team?
I think okay. I mean, I thought we were better in the other two games defensively. That's second half. I mean, we got to have some rim protection, like way too many layups. I thought Jalen did the best job at protecting the rim, which we need him to.
Eric, in the summer, I know Makai had a broken foot, right? I didn't know at the time, KB had a broken foot. Obviously, Trevor was still rehabbing. There was something else. Oh, well, obviously, Jalen had his back spasm, but there was some other stuff. Let us know, what was that like when you had some key guys out, and now it looks like, your team's pretty healthy.
Yeah,
together.
even L, we didn't know, 2 days ago if L would play. He didn't practice most of the week. He hurt his knee. Got an MRI, came back clean. Training staff did an awesome job. What's today? Monday. So Saturday, he kind of came back and got back involved. So this is the healthiest that we've been since we've gotten together at the beginning of the summer. Tonight's the healthiest that we've been.
And then how tough was it in the summer? Because I know you must hate it when your guys can't go,
I think just because, I mean, it can always be, be a little bit frustrating, when there's injuries and back spasms and, things like that. But, like our strength coach and our trainer and our doctors, they're so good about, I mean, Matt's constantly, hey, we got to get him ready for the game, be paid, and so everybody's played in the game. So right now, other than Jalen being unavailable for those 2 games, so I'm happy with where we are medically and that everybody's healthy.
Talked about the depth, when those guys were banged up and you still had a good summer, good preseason, obviously played well in the exhibitions. Where do you feel like the depth of I know it's real early, but where do you feel like the depth of this team is maybe compared to other ones you've had?
Yeah. I mean, I think tonight, I thought the first 2 games, and we didn't play as many, obviously, against Purdue. And I listened to Coach Painter's podcast the other day with a national guy, and he even said he didn't play as many guys as he would have liked just because of how competitive the game turned into. I feel the same way. But I think, we're deep, but we also, some guys need to play better than they did tonight. They might not agree with that, but there were some things that we got to get better at. And like I said, with every team, guys play their way into the rotation and guys play their way out of the rotation. Well, we're not going to play 13 guys. I mean, that's just, that's, unrealistic. And so, do we play 9? Do we go back to 8? Cause you want players to be able to feel that they can play through mistakes as well. And sometimes I think when you extend the rotation, guys might not feel that way.
You weren't in here when Battle was in here. He called you a scientist and a genius. I was just wondering
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You could go listen to the tapes. Just I guess is that would you
I
characterize
wonder what
it that
kind
way?
of scientist, like if it mad scientist or
Well, you'll have to ask him about it. But is that kind of how you characterize how you go about your daily work and business?
not really. I mean, not really. I'm surprised he said it. My new agent, K Battle.
Sure. Gardner Webb, I mean, have you started scouting them? And then, just how important is it to kind of the things that you did like tonight, the shooting, maybe the aggressiveness on offense, carrying that over into game 2?
Well, Gardner Webb has a guard that's an all-league guard. He's a returner. He's an all-league guy, so we'll have to do a good job defensively on him. They scored a lot of points tonight. I know Michael was watching the game before our game. At halftime, he was either looking at the score or something on the computer with Gardner Webb, and they're well coached. Again, I'll really dive into it tonight, but for sure their guard is a handful, and we've got to learn his tendencies as quick as we possibly can.
I know there's obviously a lot of personnel turnover on that team from a year or two ago when you guys played them, but is there anything maybe stylistically from Coach Kraft that might carry over?
I just think Curtis, having played against him, we felt like they were really well coached, that they understood their roles, and that they got an opportunity to potentially win their league. The team we just played tonight, those guys in Texas Southern, those one of those two teams probably going to win that league. And Gardner Webb is always a team that we feel is really well coached, and like I said, they have a talented guard that I know that as a staff we've kind of already been talking about him.
Yeah, Eric, going back to your depth, I know you don't want injuries, but during the course of the season, it's usually inevitable. So now, do you feel better about your ability to absorb in-season injuries?
You know what I'm really impressed about tonight, Bob? What's the date? November what? Huh? November 6th, and you're wearing shorts. That's impressive. Arkansas weather, man. We got Bob Holt in shorts on November 6th. That's impressive. Oh, good job, Curtis. I've had him on.
To absorb in-season injuries if they happen.
Yeah, I definitely think the depth is, we see it in practice every day, and we had, if you look at the plus minus tonight, though, there's some guys that there's a little bit of a drop in the plus minus even tonight. But we definitely have more depth than we have in the past.
And as far as KB, we see him on crutches the red-white game, which, gosh, that was about a month ago, and now he's scoring 20-plus points. He obviously had a real good game against Purdue. Has he surprised you a little bit with his ability to come back so quickly, or what have you thought about his, recovery and how well he's playing for y'all of late?
I think with his foot, Bob, he's broken both of them, the right and the left, and so I think that he felt uncomfortable in the shoes. And then it just kind of, it flared up or whatever. And, but no, like when we signed him, we felt like he was as explosive a scorer as we had seen, like he can rise up, he can get his own shot. He's got deep range. He can make his fouls, and he can draw fouls. So I'm not surprised how he's played. I thought maybe since he was out a lot that maybe he'd be a little rusty, but he's a gym rat. Like he lives in the gym. So we had 8 guys on the day of a game lift weights on their own. That hasn't happened since I've been in the NBA, and cause in that league guys do lift on the day of the game, but I was in there working out and I'm like, that's the 7th guy. That's the 8th. I've never seen anything like it. Before 10 in the morning, guys doing it on their own. Today was not a lift day. And then we had a bunch of guys shooting over here. It's the work ethic right now amongst the groups, really impressive.
Coach Tremont had 16 on 8 shots, 3 assists too. Just feel like he complimented KB pretty well. And just what were your takeaways?
Yeah, I think those 2 guys, against the zone are going to do damage. Those 2 guys can do damage one-on-one. T Mark against Purdue played a lot of point guard position for us as well. And I didn't play him at that position tonight at all. Probably slide him over there at times. I probably, in hindsight, I tried to get everybody in the game and give everybody an opportunity. And I'll probably go back tonight and self-critique that I played him there in a game that was back and forth against third best team in the country. And then tonight I didn't give him an opportunity to play the point spot, and I need him to get some reps there. Thanks, you guys.